This is Starbucks Workers United, a worker-led union affiliated with the SEIU. Back in November 2025, the union went on strike during one of Starbucks' most heavily trafficked days, Red Cup Day.
Starbucks workers across the country are saying no contract, no coffee. The union announcing strikes at stores in at least 45 cities. That includes New York, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Portland. And they're doing it also on a big day, Red Cup Day. That's one of Starbucks' busiest and biggest sales events of the year when customers line up for that free holiday cup.
Workers here say they specifically chose this day to strike because they know it'll hurt corporate.
And the workers are protesting what they call union busting tactics by Starbucks. This location here on Silver Lake Road in St. Anthony is one of the locations on strike. They are closed.
The Palestinian flag just says so much. Anyway, More Perfect Union made a video that attempted to boost Starbucks Workers United and all over Starbucks. But inadvertently, they ended up doing the opposite.
Starbucks now charges $1 extra for matcha and an extra 80 cents of flavored syrup. Tastes like price gouging.
I don't think that Cassie Wilson understands what price gouging means. Charging an extra 80 cents for syrup because you voluntarily asked for syrup in your luxury coffee is just called paying for things.
If you fiddle around in the Starbucks app, you can build quite an expensive coffee if you get a little outrageous with the additions.
Whipped cream, caramel drizzle, 3 shots of espresso, 6 pumps of Frappuccino coffee base, 4 scoops of powder, 2 types of toppings, and 9 pumps of syrup. That's not a coffee order. That's a chemistry experiment designed to give an elephant a heart attack. But $15 is pretty cheap for a DIY diabetes kit, I guess.
So instead of having a name for a Frappuccino with every flavor, you now have to pick like a base Frappuccino and then pay 80 cents to add a flavor.
It's called a la carte, genius. Or as Starbucks calls it, how much more can we squeeze out of you before you realize you're drinking liquid candy? But why is this person trying to force their coworkers to have to memorize 50+ names of drinks?
You go and you pay $7 for a coffee and you sit down in a crowded area and then you have to wait like 45 minutes for it.
First of all, if you're waiting 45 minutes for a drink, you're no longer a customer. You're a hostage with a caffeine addiction. But here's the part of the video that More Perfect Union left out.
I can't say I'm necessarily boycotting Starbucks myself because I don't go to Starbucks. I live in Oregon. We go to Dutch Bros here.
So if she doesn't go to Starbucks, then why should we give any credence to her opinion? I mean, and I should point out that Dutch Brothers doesn't have an interior to sit. It's drive-through only, which means that it's an entirely different experience than Starbucks.
Here's how corporate greed backfired and took down an iconic company, and how workers, not an ultra-rich CEO, can save it.
Sure, okay. Let's take a look at the labor union that's gonna save Starbucks.
Do you know that queer rights are labor rights?
What?
As queer and trans workers, we are fighting for access to gender-affirming healthcare. We're fighting for stable scheduling and a living wage. And these are the types of things that are going to make queer and trans people's lives materially better in the world that we're living in right now.
Okay, I think that everyone, regardless of their gender identity, deserves stable scheduling. That's fine. But why would it be Starbucks' responsibility to give their partners access to gender-affirming healthcare? Expecting your employer to foot the bill for highly specialized elective medical care because you know how to press the frappe button? It's a wild escalation of the employer-employee relationship. Another issue that the Starbucks Workers Union has with the company is the new uniform policy, which More Perfect Union calls
a draconian change in dress code.
Yes, wearing a clean black shirt and green apron is excessively harsh and severe. Next thing you know, Starbucks is gonna mandate that you actually show up on time. Damn you, Donald Trump!
Thing that Starbucks loves to do is allow partners to be themselves or whatever that PR that they want to push. I don't understand how that's in good faith of letting us express ourselves.
Because it's a job. You're being paid to represent Starbucks, not yourself. If you want to express your inner truth, start a Tumblr. If you want a paycheck, on the other hand, put on the green apron, grab a Sharpie, and go spell someone's name wrong on a paper cup.
This is not a legal action that Starbucks is taking by unilaterally deciding what the dress code is going to be.
The Starbucks Workers Union claims that corporate violated labor law by deciding what the new uniform should be without speaking to the union about it ahead of time. I mean, the sheer audacity of a company deciding what its own employees should wear inside its own stores while paying them with its own money. Truly a human rights violation on par with the Geneva Convention.
The changes that they made recently have definitely made it worse.
You're not supposed to have more than 10 drinks that haven't been served to customers in the time that they're ordered. My store regularly goes up to 30 or 40.
Wait, if the drinks are already made and they're just sitting there waiting to be picked up, how is that corporate's fault? You're literally complaining that you made the drinks too fast for the people who ordered them. But sure, let's blame the company for the fact that your customers treat the pickup counter like a long-term storage facility.
But with all the focus on maximizing sales, the actual product they were selling began to suffer.
This is a venti, okay? This is the only drink up to this line, maybe like right here where the ice is. This is the only drink in the whole entire thing. More than half is foam. Tastes like
However, More Perfect Union was cherry picking again.
But giving a drink when Starbucks is so expensive as it is, but like I think it's worth it. I love it. Like get it every single day. But this is I saw it and I was like, I don't even want to say anything because I feel bad. Like I can't say anything because I feel like that's mean. Like I know I'm paying for it. I just can't. Okay, I can't say anything.
So More Perfect Union's editing implied that it was corporate's fault that her drink tasted like when in reality, it was a worker that screwed it up. You know, the workers who are gonna save the company. And that video was from February 2025. Did that experience prevent Darcy McQueen, an influencer with 2.2 million followers on TikTok, from going to Starbucks ever again? No, it didn't.
As someone who gets Starbucks twice a day, I think it's only right that we try the Starbucks in Tokyo, Japan.
In 2021, the company declared that pickup-only stores were the future.
Yes, because COVID. Starbucks didn't attempt to pivot to pickup only just to ruin your life. They did it because the government essentially made hanging out indoors illegal.
The idea of the third place was dead.
The definition of a third place or a third space is a social environment outside of home and work where people gather regularly to connect, socialize, and relax. A key characteristic of a third space is that individuals are free to come and go as they please without obligation. But at Starbucks, third place basically became a free office space / homeless shelter.
There were some controversies involving people who got kicked out of stores for lingering too long, people who had the police called because they were trying to use the restroom. And that was kind of the beginning of a new era in which Starbucks was a little bit more hostile to the customer.
Hostile to the customer. Here's a quick economics lesson. If you're sitting there for 6 hours using the Wi-Fi and toilet without actually purchasing anything, you aren't a customer. You're a squatter.
They've stopped offering free water.
More Perfect Union expects Starbucks to operate like a public utility. Imagine being so entitled that you walk into a business and demand free water and then afterwards complain that they made you pay money. Oh, the humanity.
Our union is a godsend to this company. That is has been in crisis, is losing customers.
It's been a year since Brian Nickel has joined Starbucks, and frankly, nothing has changed for the better.
Well, technically that's wrong. After a year and a half of negative sales growth, it looks like the chain has stopped the bleeding and saw 4% growth year over year in the first quarter of 2026. And revenue for the quarter hit $7.28 billion, the highest in the company's history.
These people don't live in the real world like we do. These people are out of touch. But I got good news. There's a lot more of us than there are of them.
So after several months, the Starbucks union ended their strike. But what did it accomplish? And at what cost?
The Starbucks on University Way will close its doors next month. The announcement comes just weeks after the end of a 3-month strike at that location. The shop's last day will be April 5th. A manager at the University Way shop says that the strike ended because workers couldn't afford to continue without pay.
Yep, turns out that holding your own workplace hostage for 3 or 4 months isn't the brilliant negotiation tactic that the union promised it would be. And these workers in Seattle, they successfully boycotted their own jobs right out of existence.
Employees say they were not given a specific reason for the closure and that Starbucks told the location workers that they would not be able to transfer to different locations.
Yes, we just spent 3 months standing on a sidewalk screaming at customers through a megaphone, and we forced the store to close, but why won't Starbucks allow us to transfer to another location? Truly one of the great unsolved mysteries of our time.
And instead of negotiating, Starbucks just unilaterally decided to shut down over 400 stores, including 59 union shops that were said to be underperforming.
Well, maybe those union shops wouldn't be underperforming if the union members were more interested in working than constantly staging walkouts.
This is a message for Starbucks CEO Brian Nichol.
We do want you to get your coffee. We aren't stopping this for no reason.
Don't cross the picket line, hey, don't cross the picket line. Don't cross the picket line, hey, don't cross the picket line.
But according to Starbucks Workers United, union shenanigans couldn't possibly be the reason the store is unprofitable.
Here we have this incredibly motivated group of 12,000 plus workers who are saying we know exactly what it's going to take to make this company work, to improve the experience for the workers, to improve the experience for customers, which ultimately should make the shareholders happy.
You don't exactly maximize the stock's value by turning every store into a co-op where employees vote on whether or not they feel like working the lunch rush. But sure, let's ask the people who think having to wear a uniform is a human rights violation about how they would run a multi-billion-dollar global corporation.
No contract, no coffee. No contract, no coffee. No contract, no coffee.
Anyway, that's it for now. Head on over to my super cool merch store at don'twalkrun.shop. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.